Okay, so I want to talk about goals because everybody on the planet talks about goals. You need to set goals and then you need to go after those goals, and that's what's going to motivate us. And I hope that you guys have gotten back onto Facebook so that you're with us in the live stream. Um,
Yep. We're on YouTube and Facebook.
okay, okay, but I don't know if our people have gotten back on Facebook, but I'm going to get started on this discussion and hope that you get back on Facebook. Um, so, goals are a funny thing. I want to think, what is a goal? Now, think about a soccer game, right?
Oh yeah.
What is
Goal.
goal? There is a goal, right? And you got to get into the goal, right? Because if
Right.
you don't get into the goal, guess what happens? You lose. You lose. You lose, right? So the idea is that you have to make the goal or you lose. Now, let's think of another kind of goal. Let's say I own a company and I have a goal of making $1 million next year.
Hmm.
And supposing I only produce 800,000, I failed. I failed. Or supposing I didn't even do that. Supposing
Supposing you lost money.
supposing I lost money. I failed. I failed. So are you beginning to get the idea already that a goal is this thing out there that you have to live up to, and if you don't live up to it, you lose, you fail. It's not good. Now, it's worse than that. Supposing you have a goal of making $1 million and you do it. It's like, I gotta make the $1 million. I haven't seen my wife for a year. Okay, Todd says it's working in both places. I hope that was the third time through. Anyway,
Thank
thank you,
Thank you, Todd.
and hello, Tracy. Thank you, thank
And hello,
you.
Tracy. Thank you for that heart of love that you just sent.
Okay,
And thank you, Catalina, for
and it
responding.
seems like, was that ever, it was working. I don't understand. Anyway, it was showing that it wasn't even going. So anyway, if my goal was to make this perfect today, even though I really tried and I bought new equipment and everything was working, I'm a failure. Okay, so now I'm saying, let's say we're back at the goal, and but in order to achieve that goal, I have slept on the floor of my plant, like
Uh-huh.
Elon Musk, right?
Oh, there you go.
Or I ignore my wife and children. Goal one, family zero.
Yep.
But I achieved my goal, right? Because what happens when see, like, we're so trained in this idea, like in soccer, that we're going to hit the goal, get it into the goal. We get like this. It's like, oh, I have to get this goal. I have to go. And the stress. Uh, uh, eh, eh, And maybe your wife has not divorced you, which would be surprising. But maybe she has. Maybe she wants the $1 million and she doesn't really care about you. But in the meantime, guess what happens to you? Maybe you lose your health. So, goal one, health zero.
Oh, Amy has come on and says hi, Beth and James, and sends a couple of hearts of love. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
Send back at you.
Lovely. I hope Catalina was able to get back, um, and also Elizabeth. So you can see what I'm saying. Goals create stress, and when we go after them, we can get very single-minded. They can either lead to success, which could happen sometime, but at what a price? Or they could lead to failure and negative feelings about yourself. Now, supposing your goal was a stupid goal. You know, the whole world, let's say, is in need of food or clean air or whatever it is. But your goal is $1 million. And the only way that you can achieve that goal is to pollute, 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 pollute.
Yeah, you're in the fossil fuels industry.
Exactly. So, what have we got here? You get your goal, the world,
Not so
0.
much.
It's a stupid goal. You may be going after it. Or maybe it doesn't really suit you. Maybe you're so busy. Oh, my goal is, I've been using the $1 million goal, but I mean, it could be something else. It could be, my goal is to become a lawyer or go to med school or whatever it is. And it completely ignores who you are, what you want, what your gifts are, but you've got the goal. Oh, yes,
I did that.
you did.
I went to law school. And I did not really have the aptitude for that.
No.
Oh, well.
You passed the bar. That was
I
your
passed
goal.
the bar?
I passed the bar. So now, are you noticing what I'm trying to tell you is that the goal can make you very nearsighted, can make you blind to your impact on yourself, your health, the people around you, the world. But you achieved your goal, right? Right.
Yeah.
So now, supposing you say to me, but Beth, if I didn't have a goal, I wouldn't even get up in the morning. I'm just not that kind of a girl, right? I just can't do it. I need a goal. Okay, so let me talk about another option. And I'm going to give you 2, maybe even 3 other options tonight. Okay, the next option is I call it intention. So instead of saying my goal is to make $1 million this year. Supposing you say, I intend to make $1 million this year, but let's see what the universe has to say about that.
Right.
Or let's see how my health holds up. Oh, yeah, I've been chronically ill for 10 years, and I intend to get out of bed and do all this stuff. But I have to be an allowance of what is, right? Maybe I can't. Maybe I can. Maybe it's good for me. Maybe it isn't. So I call it intention and allowance. We allow what is to be instead of forcing. So what do you think of that? Okay, so that is an alternative way to look at your life, where you're saying, I like the idea of that. I'm intending to do it. I think it might be great. But how do I know what the universe has in store for me? So maybe on the way to making $1 million, I'm investing in some technology and I'm putting it out there, and then I discover that it's polluting. So what do? I stop. Or I discover that it's destructive to me or my family, and I stop. Because I'm in allowance, right? I'm not forcing things. So what do you think of that? Now,
Sounds healthier.
that's only one other alternative, and I'm going to get into more alternatives in a moment. Now, the next thing is we could say, I don't want to have a goal. I want to be guided. I'm a spiritual person, and I'm looking for divine guidance. So you could say, my goal is to be divinely guided this year. So I'm going to check in with the universe, and I'm going to
Be
pray,
guided in the moment.
be guided in the moment. No goal. Not even an intention.
Right.
So you get up in the morning and you say, what am I supposed to do today? And you could live like this. I lived like this a lot. You know, I get up and I know I have a to-do list, and I'm either going to do it or I'm not going to do it. And, you know, I don't even have to always intend to do it. Sometimes I'm in a really relaxed place. And I open myself up, and suddenly I get a message that I should call my mother. And I find it, and I call my mother. Now, this would be difficult for me because my mother is dead. But, you know, whatever. I'm just giving you an example. So I get the message that I'm supposed to call my mother. I call my mother, and she's just had a heart attack. So then the next thing I need to do is have no intention. Oh, should I go? Shouldn't I go? What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Just, if I tune in for divine guidance, I'll ask, should I go? Should I stay home? You know, what? I have no idea. I don't know what my day is going to look like now, do I? I don't know if I'm packing for the airport, or I'm praying for her, or
you're trying to make arrangements for her medical care?
Or exactly, or I get on the phone and I'm talking to all her doctors. So if I thought that day that I was going to be making $1 million, well, I may not be. I may be spending the whole day, as you said, James, you know,
making arrangements for the medical care
exactly,
of your mom.
or
Right.
calling up other relatives who live closer to her and say, hey, can you go over there? So I'm just like, okay, whatever, and just trust that I will be guided to do what I need to do. Now, I do know that I have appointments because I have clients, counseling clients, and when they make an appointment, they expect me to show up, and I expect to show up too. So it is always my intention to do that. But so you see, nothing is that rigid. It is my intention to show up for my clients, but supposing I have to leave for the airport, then I end up spending that morning calling on my clients, telling them, hey, I'm going to be out of town. I'll get back to you. Or, hey, I can do your appointment, but I need to change the time. Looks like we have another comment.
Oh, we have a comment here from Amy. How do you check in for divine guidance for folks who might not be familiar with this particular practice?
That is an excellent question. Well, you know, first of all, like everything else, how do you get to Carnegie Hall?
You
Practice, 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 practice. So, a lot of people will tell you something like this. Get quiet and tune in. Tune in to what you feel in your gut. Tune in to what you hear from the universe. Tune in to what that inner voice. What about talking to your mother and asking her whether she even wants you to come? That is another way to check on your divine guidance, right? I mean, maybe you're going to pick up a newspaper and the first thing you see is an ad that says, go! Or you see an ad that says, stay. You know, people get messages from the universe in a lot of different ways. I happen to get usually I'll get a direct voice that says, go, stay, you know, whatever. Look at your bank account. You can't do that. Or ask yourself what your responsibility is, or what is your motive? Oh, yes, this is a good one. I have to ask myself, what's my motive? maybe the first thing is, oh, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. I have to go, I'm going, I'm going. Well, maybe I'm going because I don't want my brother to get there first. Right? See what I mean? So I have to check in with my motive. Even if I get something, I hear go, then I have to tune in again and say, does this feel like a real go or does this feel like an ego go?
Oh.
So that will give you and that is a very big topic, but I hope that this will give you an idea and practice getting divine guidance with things that are not that important. I mean, you could say, all right, what should I wear today? And you go into your closet and some people will close their eyes and just walk in some direction and, there it is. Now I know what I'm supposed to wear. Or some people will ask for an image and suddenly they'll see a vision.
I like to ask yes or no questions.
Yes.
If I'm standing in front of those clothes, says, well, is it for the highest good for me to wear this one? Yes or no? And then get the answer.
And you've brought up, of course, a very crucial, and by the way, I have one more blob of a topic after this one. What was I going to ask you? What was I going to say, James?
Well, did it have to do with yes or no questions for
Oh,
guidance?
I know. It had to do with the highest good of all. So one of the things that I personally believe in is that we should do what is for the highest good of all, including me. So that means that if, in order to make $1 million, I have to torture someone, my employees, right? Or I'm going to have to cheat, or I'm going to have to raise prices, or I'm going to have...
That doesn't sound like the highest good of all.
No. You know, or I'm going to have to pollute, as in the example that I talked about. So, the most important question is to say, is it for the highest good of all, including me, to go to see my mother? Or at this time, right? And know that that can change in a minute because we're getting guidance every moment. Like all of a sudden you get, go! Well, maybe something has happened to her health and now you should go. Or maybe something has happened to you, or maybe there's more money in your bank than you think there is. Or your husband says, honey, it's okay. I'll take care of the 6 children, 3 pigs, and a horse. And you can go. I know it's been a while since you... Now, for me, it was never an issue because I was too sick to go. So I was lucky.
But then you made arrangements on the phone.
I always did the best that I could. Yeah, but see, for me, a lot of things are not possible because of my health. So that always has to be a consideration. So the highest good of all, which isn't always what our ego wants, is the highest good, the thing that is best for our evolution and everybody's well-being. So the highest good of all, including me, cannot mean me taking a plane if it makes me sick, because that's not my highest good. That may be what the ego says I should be doing. So, but that's a deep question, and someday I should probably talk about that in greater detail. But in the meantime, I want to bring up one more way instead of goals. Now, are you beginning to realize what I mean about goals? That you know what the problem of goals is? That they are externally sourced visions of what you should do. Now, you say, well, no, it came from me. I wanted to be a star. I wanted to play the piano. I wanted to, create the vaccine for the measles. I know someone else has done that. But so you could say, oh, yeah, no, that came from me. But if it's a goal, then it's external. I've said, okay, here it is. See, it's like that goal in the soccer game, right? You see the goalpost. You didn't put the goalpost there. Someone else put the goalpost there, and you decide that you have to get that ball into that goal, and you're the one who's got to do it. not even maybe handing it to your friend who's going to get it in there. So it's something from you know, understanding what I'm saying? So it's something external to you. It's what I call striving to meet a goal. Striving. So here's the final alternative to having goals that still keeps you alert, alive, and motivated. And it is this. I was guided by this inner voice to stretch, not to strive. So a lot of what I believe that we should be doing is stretching. In other words, let's say I can pick up this weight. That's about it for me. Okay, that's this weight. And now I want to stretch. So then I add 3 ounces to this weight, and I see how I do. And it's like, oh, yeah, I can just do that. Oh, yeah, I'm just managing that. So if I added 3 pounds to that weight, I could not do that. That would be striving. I said, oh, I've got to do this plus 3 pounds. And that's my goal because I have it written down right here that this is my goal. But that is striving. I'm striving to do something that may or not be even relevant or possible, because I haven't even talked about what is possible. What can I do? But when I'm stretching, I say, I want to go beyond where I am right now. That could be an emotional thing. For instance, I may notice that I'm very angry or testy, and if I'm striving, I'm going to say, I want to be Mother Teresa. Now, I don't know that Mother Teresa was really a nice woman, because some people say she wasn't. But anyway, she helped a lot of people. So that's the image in my mind, or Mother Mary, or Gandhi, or Jesus, or Elon Musk, or Donald Trump, or whatever it is, okay? So these are all something outside that I am trying to be. I want to be a star. I want to be Marilyn Monroe. I want to be a rock star. Stretching says, I love playing music, and I only play for a few people. Let me invite a couple more people to the house and try that on for size. So I'm taking a step, or it could be even a bigger step. Let's say I'm going to do a home concert in my hometown, but I'm not going to be in Carnegie Hall this afternoon. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now if you stretch instead of strive, you are being true to yourself. You're feeling the call to grow, and you grow. And you can feel whether you're pushing yourself too much or too little. Like, okay, this has gotten really easy for me. So I don't know that I need to do that anymore. What would be the next step? And, if you're sick or you're getting old or you're getting tired or you have 3 children and you get distracted and there's doing the same thing may be more of a stretch. So even that, you can't judge it externally. It looks like we have another comment.
And Amy says, a goalpost is a great way to think about goals. It is both external, but others can see if I met it or not. And if I didn't, it is easy to feel inadequate.
Exactly. Very good point.
You were striving instead of simply stretching.
I was. So many things in life call us to stretch, to try to be compassionate when we feel angry. That is a stretch. I'm not trying to be Mahatma Gandhi. I'm just trying to be compassionate when my automatic reaction is to be angry. Or I can say, why is this making me so angry? That in itself might be a stretch. Just questioning myself, just becoming aware can be the biggest stretch. It's very hard to be aware of ourselves. So I want you to remember this. Striving is like that goalpost in the soccer game. It's something I want to be that. I want to do that. It's out there, and I am trying to like leap across 1,000 miles and get to that. But stretching is starting where you are, like picking this thing up. And maybe some days I'm too weak to pick this up. And some days I feel a little stronger. And when I feel a little stronger, I pick it up. I add a little weight to it and I pick it up. That is how we grow in a healthy way that's integrated with ourselves. Looks like we have another comment. Oh, two.
Oh, here we go. Let's see here. First of all, Amy says, I like how you've described to us in the past that striving is having to reach across a gap rather than starting from where we are and see if we can reach a little further. No gap involved.
Very good. I'm so glad that you remembered that, Amy. That was really good. So that's right.
And we have a message from a comment from one of our friends in Ukraine. Katrina says, peace to all.
Katyusha.
Katrusha. Only a free country is born to live for society, to create a good, gentle melody in which you develop in unison with the nature of life. Unfortunately, I often suffer from air anxiety at Kiev, but your melody from overseas calms the air of Kiev and Ukraine. Your melody of peace gives hope to continue living and fighting. Thank you. I wish you good health. And she sends many, many hearts of love and namaste.
Thank you, Katyusha.
Thank you very much. And speaking of which, tomorrow night is the music program.
Yes.
Magical Improvs, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Do join us and experience what Katrusha is talking about, and others as well.
Thank you. Do come back tomorrow night and join James and me for Magical Improvs. And please like or love this show or give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Share it with people. Follow our page on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I always hope and stretch in every way to bring you the best information from the heart that I can without all these technological problems that seem to happen no matter what I do. So there you go.
And you keep being called upon to stretch your abilities to
I'm
handle the
stretching
technology.
my capacity to tolerate frustration because I'm not going to give up.
There
And
you
I want to
go.
keep being with you. And I'm very moved by your comment, Katyusha. And so let's all remember, as Amy reminded me that I used to say, there's no gap. When you're stretching, it's coming from you. And it's just like that next step. It's not coming from your head, guys. It's not coming from society. It's coming from our own desire to exercise our muscles, to grow and to be better. We have that innately, a desire to be better. And that's where that stretching comes from. So I've given you tonight a couple of options. Goals, not such a great idea. And I talked about why. Then I talked about intending, where you can be an allowance for the way things are, and that we should take a look at what we're sacrificing to meet our goals, us and others. And I talked about stretching and striving, and I talked about being guided, asking for divine guidance. There's many ways to live our lives, and they don't have to be externally set goals that we may do damage to ourselves and others in order to meet. So
There we are.
thank you for being with us.
Glad to have you with us.
Yes.
Hope to see you again sometime soon. Join us tomorrow night if you can.
Yes,
Magical Improv.
and leave your comments as well after the show.